Top of the morning to everybody. Okay, today I'm going to be working on a client called Nacho Daddy. It's a Mexican restaurant. Well, it's a Mexican restaurant and bar, rather Americanized. They got some pretty decent food, and but they specialize in exotic drinks and goofy, crazy, wild Vegas-like atmosphere. So we're going to have fun with this one. I have almost no plan as to what I'm going to do with this. So this is just going to be coming out of my head the entire time. So first I'm going to go over to my bin and show you what I have over there, or my event, and show you what I have over there so you can kind of see what we're working with. All right, so over here we've got some drinks, lots of drinks. This one here they call the Scorpion Shot. Let's see, is it going to let me scrub through it? So you can see right there there's a little scorpion inside the tequila, and you drink the whole thing down. They've got good frozen, well, that's a beer there. That's another beer, darker beer it looks like. They've got margaritas. Here's the margarita. Things like that. Here's some different plates of nachos. What I did was I kind of got real close and used my macro zoom to kind of do some funky little shots with those. And these are different plates of, let's see, what is that? Huevos rancheros is what that is. So I got different shots of that. This is a salad. And a girl serving it. The reason they wanted the girl in this one, it's kind of a silly thing, but whatever. Apparently, more women are vegans than men. It's more often that women tend to be vegetarians or vegans or whatever. And so this is supposed to be a vegan salad. And they're saying, hey, women, come on over here. We have vegan food. Here's the menu. Places where you can place orders. What else do we have? Here's one of the bars. We've got a couple of bars. Okay, these outside shots. This was fun. This is what I did with this. I'll probably use this. I started in focus, and then I took my macro focus and went out of focus like that. And what I'm thinking I'll do is I'm going to leave this just like this and use it as a background and put everything else as like a picture-in-picture type thing. So I've got some other stuff here. And then this is our Mexican Independence Day, yay, party thing. And here's a voiceover. Okay, so what I'm going to start off with first is I'm going to take the voiceover and throw it down into my project. Now, let me lower his voice a bit. Now I have here I usually use the second voice here. Now, normally what I do when I'm editing a spot is I use the storyline for my audio, or at least the voiceover part. And the reason I do this is because I tend to edit the video to the audio and not the audio to the video. I find it a lot easier. If you have interviews and things like that or testimonials, I'll throw those in here as well. But my storyline is what tells the story, and the audio to me tells the story. Okay, so here I have my audio. Now I'm just going to kind of listen to it and figure out what he's saying so I can kind of go along with whatever they're talking about.
Venga este septiembre a celebrar el mes de la hispanidad en Nacho Daddy's. Aquí encontrará las bebidas más frías y exóticas. Visítenos hoy mismo y pruebe nuestra margarita galardonada como la mejor de Las Vegas. Nuestra comida está hecha fresca, con el sabor más auténtico, y tenemos una gran variedad.
Kind of like it. A little strong, but I think it'll work. I'm going to shorten it a bit because it is 31 seconds, so I need to bring it back to 30. Hopefully it doesn't sound too strange. It's at 104%. That's usually okay. Let's bring it back just one more frame. That'll work. Okay, we're still at 104%, so we're okay there. Any higher than 104%, it starts to sound a little strange to me. All right, so venga disfruta Nacho Daddy. So I'm going to take this background and I'm going to throw it down here rather than putting it up above. This is kind of a cool little feature of Final Cut Pro X, is the fact that you can put your video below your audio instead of above, and just use it as a reference. I want this to come back right at the end. So maybe what I can do is, let's see, maybe I can blade that and right here, blade that again. Now this I will speed up. Since it's blurry, it probably won't make a difference too much. Okay, where does he say this part here?
Estamos ubicados en el corazón de Las Vegas, en Fremont Street, sobre la calle 4. Llámenos, te esperamos. En el corazón de Las Vegas.
I think I'll just leave it just like that. That should be good. Perfect. All right, let's turn these down so it's nice and even. So this will be the background, and what I will do is as soon as it starts going blurry there, I'm going to throw in some picture-in-picture type stuff.
A celebrar el mes de la hispanidad.
All right, as they say, celebrar el mes de la hispanidad. We'll throw them in there. I think they scream. All right, we'll throw that in there with the scream. I have my video or my audio turned off, so let's put that in there again.
A celebrar el mes de la hispanidad.
Okay, so we've got this here. Now, I have an effect over here. I have an effect over here that's called 75% pip. If I throw that on there, look at that. And what this effect is, let me open up this effect to show you kind of what it does. Just so you can see what I did with it. I created this in Motion, and I used it for another spot for a different client a long time ago. And basically, all it is I take whatever the input is, and I shrink it down to 75%. I lift it up a little bit. I add a white border to it, and I add a drop shadow to it. So it's opening up in Motion here. Okay, so you can see how I did this. The outer glow is what creates the white border. And so you can actually, because this is an outer glow effect, I can go in and change the color of it if I want to. But if I look at everything, it's my effect source is 75% here. And then I've used this to move it up a bit. And then I added the drop shadow on there. And I added the outer glow to create the white border. Okay, and that simply I just drag this from here and drop it into here, and it creates this little effect for me. It's great. I love this. Let's add some color corrector as well. I think the exposure is okay. I could probably bring the mids up a bit, bring the highs up a bit, and let's bring that color up a lot. And they look a little green, so let's take out some of that green. Right there. Might be a little much color. Okay, I think that'll work.
A celebrar el mes de la
Okay,
hispanidad.
we're going to have to put a transition for them to come in. So we'll figure that out in a minute.
En Nacho Daddy's. Aquí encontramos.
And we'll throw in another shot of Nacho Daddy. Let's try... Let's take this one. Oh yeah, let's remove the audio. Yeah, we'll just turn it down. Oops.
En Nacho Daddy's.
Just Nacho Daddy.
En Nacho Daddy's. Aquí encontrará las bebidas
All
más
right,
frías.
so now he's talking about cold drinks. I know this is kind of a double thing, but we'll just deal with it. What I should have done is created a mask. I might do that later. But if I create a mask here, I can actually move this piece around wherever I want. Make it so that I can zoom this in without changing the borders. Let's make it nice and dark and saturated. Not nice and dark, but man, that looks cool.
Aquí
And you know what
encontrará
I'm
las
gonna do?
bebidas.
Because you can't see what I'm doing on my other screen, and I jump back and forth between them so much. So let's throw this all here. All right, cold drinks. Let's start right here, and let's turn the audio off. Now, you don't have to drag them down like that. I do that on purpose.
Aquí encontrará las bebidas más frías y exóticas.
Let's cut this out and let's trim it over this way. Yeah, that looks good. Let's adjust her. You know what? Let's do this. Copy. Let's see if this looks any good. We'll put the effect and the color. Yeah, I think that color looks good.
Aquí encontrará las bebidas más frías y exóticas.
That's this lovely scorpion shot right here.
Y exóticas. Visítenos hoy mismo.
I think I'll leave that there a little bit longer. Scorpion shot. Okay, let's copy and paste the effect and the color. Oh, look at that scorpion shot. That looks cool.
Y pruebe nuestra margarita galardonada como la mejor de Las Vegas.
Okay. We've got the coldest and the most exotic drinks, and then he talks about the margarita. So this is the margarita. So let's use this dark beer as coldest drinks. Now all we do is just come down here, drop it over here, and we can go replace from start, and it'll fill it in, but we still need to add the effect and the color. So we'll do that. So that'll work. And let's grab this margarita and throw it down here. Okay, if I don't want to drag it anymore, I can just hit Q and it'll pop it in there on the top.
Y pruebe nuestra margarita galardonada como la mejor de Las Vegas. Nuestra comida está ahí.
Okay. So they're talking about drinks here. Let's paste these effects and the color.
La mejor de Las Vegas. Nuestra comida.
I don't like the way that ends. That's
Y pruebe nuestra margarita galardonada
like the way
como
that
la
begins
mejor de Las
either.
Vegas. Nuestra comida.
I think I got to start it there.
Y pruebe nuestra margarita galardonada como la mejor de Las Vegas. Nuestra comida está hecha fresca, con el sabor más.
Nuestra comida está hecha fresca. These nachos are really good. They're buffalo chicken nachos. I think I like this shot the best. Now, what's cool about these nachos here, about this particular shot, is that I didn't actually do anything to modify the nachos. Usually I take oil and dump it all over the place and rub everything in oil and rub everything in water and all kinds of crazy stuff. And these were, I mean, I got my table ready
Nuestra comida está hecha fresca.
And they brought the nachos out, and I started shooting them. So if they're still steaming, that was real. But they're still glistening because they were totally fresh. It was great. Now, this is food, so it's possible that the color may not work out as well. Let's bring down the saturation a bit because I think that'll work. Okay.
Fresca, con el sabor más auténtico. Y tenemos...
Sabor más auténtico. Let's go with huevos rancheros aquí. Let's go with this one. I didn't get to taste this. It looked so good, but I didn't get to taste it. Okay, a little too much saturation. Yeah, let's look at the exposure and bring that up. That looks good. That looks nice and tasty.
Con el sabor más auténtico y tenemos una gran variedad para todos los gustos. Comience la fiesta hoy mismo.
I'm going to have to increase the speed on this.
Y tenemos una gran variedad para todos los gustos.
Might have to go even faster. Let's see. Here comes a whole bunch of paper. Okay, it's a little bright. Let's come in here and bring down the brightness a bit. There we go. Okay, todos los gustos. They're trying to focus on the vegan stuff here now.
Los gustos. Comience la fiesta hoy.
See what we got here. Comienza la fiesta hoy.
Hasta hoy mismo. Estamos ubicados en el corazón de Las Vegas, en Fremont Street, sobre la calle 4.
Okay, that's got to be my ending there. Comienza la fiesta hoy mismo. I'm not supposed to put this girl's face on camera. I think I got a good shot. Yeah, here we go. Here we go. There. Comienza la fiesta hoy mismo. Come on. That'll work. We'll use that. That'll work perfectly. Comienza la fiesta hoy mismo.
Hasta hoy mismo. Estamos ubicados en el corazón.
And let's put the bar going in the other direction. Right there. We'll do that. All right, I think that'll work. All right, let's paste those effects onto those two clips. I'm hitting Command-Shift-V to paste the effects in there. If you copy a clip and then you hit Command-Shift-V, you can paste the effects in there, and instead of instead of pasting the clip. All right, let's see. That's right there. I think that works. Okay, she looks a little red. So let's do that and take down some of the saturation. Okay, I think that'll work.
La calle 4, llámenos, te esperamos.
Okay, so now what I need is some transitions. Boom. Let's stop that right there. No, let's go a little bit further because it's still out of focus. Right there. Okay. All right, let's throw in some transitions. I think a good transition for this is some kind of a 3D fly-in type thing. Let's see what we got here. Movements. Black hole would work, maybe. No. Let's see what this looks like just for this part. Let's remove it from there. 10 frames. Let's see what it looks like just for this. No, I can't.
Septiembre a celebrar.
How about spin? Let's try that. Get in there.
Septiembre a celebrar.
That's perfect.
Septiembre a celebrar el mes de la hispanidad en.
Okay. Here comes the hard part, because a lot of the transitions, when they go with this 75 picture-in-picture, they'll go really weird. I could use swap. See what it looks like.
La hispanidad en Nacho Daddy.
Okay.
Aquí en.
I don't want to use that, though. Oh, instead of spin, let's use this scale. Much better.
A celebrar el.
Let me do a fade to color. No, let's do this. Bloom. Let's throw that in there. Let's see what that looks like.
La hispanidad en Nacho Daddy.
Good. It's only affecting the picture-in-picture, so that's good. Now, what's cool is see how these are in a storyline of their own now. The rest of them are not. So if I go over here and I select there, it'll put it on both. Lets me do it in half the time. All right, and this ending one, we can now, because they're all in the same storyline, copy and paste this scale one, but we're going to reverse it. So I'll go in here, and instead of direction up, we're going to go direction down. Perfect. Okay, so let's select all of these. I hate when I do that. Just barely missed it. And I'm going to change their duration to 10.
Venga este septiembre a celebrar el mes de la hispanidad en Nacho Daddy's. Aquí encontrará las bebidas más frías y exóticas. Visítenos hoy mismo y pruebe nuestra margarita galardonada como la mejor de Las Vegas. Nuestra comida está hecha fresca, con el sabor más auténtico y tenemos una gran variedad para todos los gustos. Comience la fiesta hoy mismo. Estamos ubicados en el corazón de Las Vegas, en Fremont Street, sobre la calle 4. Llámenos, te esperamos. Venga.
Perfect. Okay, so now I need to create a lower third. Okay, I'm going to go do some hunting real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so here I have it in Photoshop. Basically, you can see this little shadow back here, and this really bugs me. This is a JPEG file. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a PNG or anything like that. Oftentimes, this is what I get is JPEG files. And it's not too bad, except for the fact that, well, in my opinion, JPEG files are just no good. The reason being is when they have drop shadows like this, I can't get rid of the shadow very well. It's a real pain. So I'm going to try to just magic wand as much of this as I can. And I'm sure there's other ways of doing this, but this is what I'm familiar with, so I'm going to do it this way. Get in there. And the problem is that this shadow, I have to completely remove the shadow. If I don't remove the shadow, when I do make it an alpha channel file and it has an alpha channel in it so that the white disappears, I'll get a white fringe. And it's because of the shadow over a white background. It looks great as a JPEG form, but when I try to use it and put it into my lower third and into my graphics, it just doesn't work. And unfortunately, they didn't send me a logo, so this is the best I can do with it. All right, so I have my selection made. I'm going to invert my selection. And in my channels, I'm going to add save selection as a channel. So I have this alpha channel right here. A little spot there. Let's clean this up just a bit. Let's go grab a brush. I'm not used to this version of Photoshop. It's a little different for me. So pardon me while I stumble around a little bit. Where's my brush? Ah, there's my brush. Let's use that one. I needed a harder brush because the softer brush was taking a little too much. All right, let's swap that around. And oh no, that's something wrong with my screen there. Let's take this down to 2 pixels. Swap it around. Clean this area up right here. All right, let's see what else I've got. Let's go back to 13. Got a spot right here. And spot right there. Just got to make it all smooth. So this looks weird. This is typical of JPEG. You see this little square right here? JPEG tends to do weird things like that. It just has to do with the compression. All right, let's go back to size 2 again and get rid of this little spike here. Okay. So we're good. The alpha channel's good. Now I'm going to make the alpha channel a selection, and I am going to save this as, I know this is kind of dirty, but when I finally get it into the video, you probably won't see that as so dirty because it's going to be a lot smaller. So I'm going to call it Nacho Daddy Alpha, and I'm going to save it as a TIFF file with alpha channels. And I usually use the Macintosh byte order. It doesn't really matter, but I do it anyway. Okay, and now I can quit Photoshop. Now, TIFF files are great, but they're big, and because they're big, they tend to make motion slower once I start working with them in motion. So I'm going to open this up in Preview and convert it to a PNG file. They tend to be a little bit faster. I don't know why. Whoops. Get over there. Okay, so this looks pretty good. I can still see some dirt over here, but we'll live. Export to PNG. All right, and we'll save that, and it should have exported right there. There we go. Okay, so our colors are nice and yellow and nice and red. So let's open up Motion and create the file that we need. Here's their website, NachoDaddy.com. Oh, they got some good photography on this. This looks really nice. I like this. I don't like that one so much, but this one looks good. This one looks really nice here. Kind of out of focus, but it still looks pretty good. So they got two, downtown and Henderson. I think we're focusing on the downtown one, so we're not going to worry about it. But I need this address and the phone number. We'll enter their site. Oh, that's a good looking burger. And we will put NachoDaddy.com as their website as well. So we'll use that. Let's look at their website. They've got this red banner. They got a white banner. We'll use a white banner. I like this gold and red. I think I'll try to copy that as much as possible. Yeah, let's try that. All right, here we go. Okay, Motion is open. I'm going to make a Final Cut Pro title. All right, let's stick it back over here. And here we go. We're going to fit this here. And let's import this graphic. Actually, we're going to import two graphics. Again, I use the center cut safe. And I do this to make sure 100% of my audience sees everything in there. I don't know who's not using high definition TVs yet, but rather than do that, I give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay, so we've got that. Now let's put in Nacho Daddy Alpha. And here it is. Let's make it smaller. I don't like the font they're using here. It's too difficult to read. It looks nice, but when you're trying to read it on TV, it's going to be terrible. I like this. I think I might have something similar to that. All right, so let's copy. Here, let me do this here because let's copy this. And I will make a text box right here. No, I won't make a text box there. I'll just make a text line there. All right. Let's see what kind of fonts I have that would look pretty cool with that. Huh. That one looks pretty good. What's this called? Cracked? That'll do it. That's the kind of place that this is what this place is about. It's just crazy stuff. So this will work. Let's put their address and phone number on the same thing, same line. In Vegas now we have the 10-digit dialing, so we have to put the 702 now. Hopefully this is readable. Let's make it a little smaller. Let's make this a little smaller. And let's take that off of the guide. Um, all right, let's just drag it this way. That'll work. I think we can make this bigger now. Okay, now the website. So I'm duplicating this layer so I have all the same font. www.nachodaddy.com. And I'm going to put these here because the dots are cool, but with this font it's a little difficult to read. Cool. I think that works as far as font goes. Let's swap the fonts. This is what we're going to do. I'm going to put a white thing across here, and then on the bottom I'll put red, and on the top I'll put a little yellow. Just small ones though, just to kind of keep it so that it has that look of the website, but it isn't too crazy big and in the way. We're also going to make it transparent and do some fun stuff with that too. But let's do this. Let's do a swap, yellow and red here. What I will do is, this is a lower layer, so I'm going to take a red from here. That's what it looks like. And this is the yellow. The yellow is kind of dark, which is nice. It's more of an orangey. It's difficult to read now, but let's throw in this rectangle real quick. And if we throw this in the back, whoops, I threw it back there. Don't want it there. Want it here. All right, we throw it there. You can read this a lot better. I might, just for kicks, let's put a black outline around that just to give it a little bit of pop. Little tiny bit of pop. That works. Let's do the same with this. Okay, that gives it a little something. Let's give it 2. It's kind of hard to read. That's a little easier. All right, it looks better on the yellow than the red, but we'll leave it that way. Let's make this rectangle just a little bit taller. Right there, I think is perfect. Okay. Let's make our... Okay, that looks pretty good. That looks very similar to what they have on their website. Okay. This is their stuff here. Now I'm going to move this off screen. I'm going to use those to pick the colors. Now the way they did this is an interesting way of doing a gradient. I'm going to duplicate this, throw it up here, and just make it smaller. Whoops. Okay, that's the yellow. The way they did their gradient is... Okay, let's do a fill with a gradient. Okay, see how it's got the kind of bluish gradient pieces there? So what they did was they took a dark color here at the top of it, and then they had it gradient to a lighter color, which is right there. Oh, it didn't work. Okay, and then immediately right after that, I hate when I do that. Okay, immediately right after that, they go to the dark color again. And we'll pull this off. And the transition between the two is extremely tight. Right there. So there's a slight gradient from here to here, and then there's no gradient for the rest of it. So that's what we have there. All right, so now let's do the bottom. We will simply duplicate this and drag it down here, and we're just going to mess with the gradient colors. The first one is, and it's the same type of thing. Let's move this out of the way. No, that's the lighter one. It's always so difficult to grab these. Okay. Okay, that's the darker one. All right, good. Good. Let's grab this and go boom. And this one is the lighter one. All right, and then let's shove these up against each other to make that a hard transition. Okay, that looks just like their website. Now, we're going to leave those alone, but this, we're going to have fun with this, all right? I'm going to make this be white with a transparency. Let's duplicate this layer, and this we will call Matt. Hi, Matt. How are you today? I'm also going to make a clone layer of this. You hit K, and it makes a quick clone layer, and what I will do is this clone layer is going to have an image mask. Okay? And that image mask is going to be Matt. Now let's turn this off. And let's turn all of these off here. Okay, and you can see this is the clone layer here. Now let's add some effects to this clone layer. First off, let's put in a glow. We will put in a bloom glow. Now I don't have any video here, so we can't really see it, but we're going to make a huge amount, lots of brightness, low threshold. That should work. All right. And this rectangle here is going to filter it. Oh yeah, let's add a blur as well. Library, filters, blur, Gaussian blur. Inspector 30. I'm just throwing out numbers. We might have to look at it and go, oh, okay, let's revise it. Okay, so let me explain what I'm doing here. What's going to happen is this white area is going to be transparent. So let's make it transparent. Okay. Behind it will be whatever video this is. So you'll see through it, but it's going to be similar to the Windows Aqua interface, or even similar to this, where it's going to be really bright and it's going to be very blurry. So see how the hair of my daughter here goes up into here and it gets blurry and it turns all light colored and everything. So that's basically going to be the same thing. So how I do that is I make a clone layer of whatever the background is, and then I use one rectangle as an image mask, and I usually make a duplicate of whatever this rectangle is. And then I add the effects of bloom and Gaussian blur. The blur makes it blurry, and the bloom makes the highlights come out really strong. And that's what I'm looking for. And because this is white, it should look fairly cool. All right, I can even add Nah, I won't do that. I was going to say I could add an additive look here, but I'm not going to do that. Okay, now we need an entry. 15 frame entry. I think that's enough. So let's make a marker here and an exit 15 frames. Now I will make I like to do build in and build out optionals. The build in allows some kind of an entry effect, and then the build out allows an exit effect. And everything in between is what changes the time. If I make this 15 frames, this first 15 frames has to be, if I choose the build in, this first 15 frames has to play in real time, and then the rest of it is what gets adjusted. Okay, we'll do this. We will do everything left and right. All right, so rectangle and matte will go left. Let's go ahead and go 3, 4, Nacho Daddy Alpha, and these. All right, everything here is selected. It won't give you the properties for them all. So let's do the text first. And since everything is going left and right, okay, X is the only thing we're going to use. Position X there. Position X here. All right, and then now let's do this. Okay, this is the main rectangle and the matte. We're going to use both of them together because we want both of these two items to go at the same time. The clone layer will not be affected by the matte. Will not be affected by the matte if the matte is not on screen. Okay, and we'll take these two to the left. I mean to the right. And we'll take Nacho Daddy to the left. And these two to the right. And actually, let's put NachoDaddy.com a little bit closer in here. All right. Cool. Now, if I open up my animation, I can see my little keyframes and everything. So let's take all of these keyframes. And I'm going to make the interpolation linear first. And then I'm going to take the second keyframes and make them all ease in. I want to start with a high velocity and slow down as they get closer. And that's how I do that. If I keep them the way they are, they have a Bezier spline right from the beginning. So they start slow, speed up, and slow down. I want them to start fast and slow down. The other thing I want is rectangle 1 and rectangle 2. I want this rectangle copy to actually come in a little bit later. Perfect. Gives it kind of an uneven look, and that's what I want. Sweet. All right, exit time. Okay, same thing. We'll make it exit the exact same way. Okay, so these two together will go out this way. These two will go out this way. And this time, instead of moving the keyframe, I'm actually just going to move this out a little further so it goes out faster. Nacho Daddy Alpha will go this way. And these two will go out to the right. Now you notice these little things go becoming orange. These are my keyframes. When I'm not on them, they're not orange. And when I select or get to an area where the keyframe comes up, they'll turn orange again. That just lets me know where my keyframes are. It's easier for me to spot them this way. Okay, now let's make these linear again. It will only make the interpolation between these 2 points linear. It won't adjust any of these over here. Okay, now this time we're going to do an ease out. And this should stay fairly steady. It shouldn't move. I don't see any movement in it. So now they'll start slow and speed up as they go out. All right, let's save that. Save as Nacho Daddy lower third. And I'll save it in my local templates. Local templates. Okay, so that's done. Now let's throw it in here. Because it's updating, it's getting a little slow for me here. All right, I'm not going to start this at the beginning, but even though I added the build out, I usually like to have it, but I don't always use it. Okay, here's the transparency thing I'm talking about. See that? See what it does to the effect there? See how it's kind of blurry right there, and it does that. Isn't that cool? That's what I was going for. Exactly that. All right, so let's render this. You know what I hate about making commercials about restaurants is they always make me hungry. All right, so it's done rendering, so let's go ahead and take a look at this.
Venga este septiembre a celebrar el mes de la hispanidad en Nacho Daddy's. Aquí encontrará las bebidas más frías y exóticas. Visítenos hoy mismo y pruebe nuestra margarita galardonada como la mejor de Las Vegas. Nuestra comida está hecha fresca, con el sabor más auténtico y tenemos una gran variedad para todos los gustos. Comience la fiesta hoy mismo. Estamos ubicados en el corazón de Las Vegas, en Fremont Street, sobre la calle 4. Llámenos, te esperamos. Venga, este septiembre.
They're actually not on Fremont Street. They're like half a block off of it. So it's kind of funny. They're on 4th.
Llámenos, te esperamos.
I think it's good.
Venga este septiembre a celebrar el mes de la hispanidad en Nacho Daddy's. Aquí encontrará las bebidas más frías y exóticas. Visítenos hoy mismo y pruebe nuestra margarita galardonada como la mejor de Las Vegas.
Now I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to put, using these fonts, I think I'm going to put a little bit of stuff in here so that it says like, this is called the scorpion shot. So I'm going to identify it, scorpion shot. I don't know what kind of beer that is. I'm sure I see the tab in the shot somewhere, so I'll label it. Maybe cold beer, so I'll put cerveza helada or something like that. I don't know. Margarita, buffalo hot nachos, huevos rancheros, whatever the name of that salad is. It's like kale avocado salad or something. I think I'm just going to do that just in little simple little things. So I'm going to use the custom title. basically all this is just a simple title. It's kind of boring. And because it's unrendering everything I just did, it's going to be slow. All right. Not over that. It's got to be over this. One thing I like about Final Cut Pro X is the fact that if I move something over here, before, if I put something here and then I moved it, this remained unrendered. Now it doesn't do that. It still remains rendered, so that's good. Okay, the name of that font was called Cracked. So let's go find it real quick. BC Cracked. Okay, I'm going to have to put this over on the right side so that yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for right there. Only I want it in 2 lines. And a little bit bigger. And right justified for this particular one. Let's bring the line spacing down a bit. And over here, what's cool about the custom is that you can go to video and move them around. If I were to do this with any regular title, any of the other titles, it would move the entire video around. The custom title, for some reason, doesn't do that. I'm not sure why, but that's okay. Cerveza fresca, right there. Now, you know what? I think I'll bring it up and put it right here. You know, let's do this. Let's put that in the middle, and then I can... No, it still doesn't want to work. Yeah, let's leave it just like that. That looks good. This is called the Scorpion Shot. And this one needs to go over to the left side. Whoops, wrong one. Margarita needs to go here too, on the left side. Darn it, and I wanted it to be on the right because the Scorpion Shot one was on the left. That's okay. Let's see. I'm going to see if they have a special name for their margarita. Let's see what he says about the margarita here.
Visítenos hoy mismo y pruebe nuestra margarita galardonada como la mejor de Las Vegas.
I think it's El Primo Margarita. So we'll put that on there. El Primo. Which means the cousin.
Nuestra comida está hecha fresca.
Alright, since this one's over here, we'll grab this one for the positioning. And in order to duplicate these things, I'm just holding the Option key, and it allows me to make a duplicate right away. Okay, Buffalo Hot Nachos is kind of in the way here, so let's move it this way. Where can I put it? Oh, right there. Here we go. Right over the red. Right there. That looks cool. All right, we'll grab this for huevos rancheros. All right, salads. Oh, it's just called the kale salad. We'll put that on the right. So we'll grab this one. Cool. I think that's done as far as the graphics goes. All right. I can't show you the music selection, only because I'm not licensed to be able to broadcast the music on the internet. So I'm not going to do that. But what I will do is after this is finished rendering, I'm going to let you view the entire commercial. It just won't have any music. So once that's done, then I will select the music, export it, and compress it, and do all that good stuff, and send it out to all my sales reps so they can forward it to the clients and so on and so forth. So we'll just wait here until this is done. Oh, they have chorizo nachos. Oh, that makes me so... Chicken fried steak nachos. I bet you those are good. Steel cut oatmeal. That's tough to cook. All right. Let's take a look at this bad boy.
Venga este septiembre a celebrar el mes de la hispanidad en Nacho Daddy's. Aquí encontrará las bebidas más frías y exóticas. Visítenos hoy mismo y pruebe nuestra margarita galardonada como la mejor de Las Vegas. Nuestra comida está hecha fresca, con el sabor más auténtico y tenemos una gran variedad para todos los gustos. Comience la fiesta hoy mismo. Estamos ubicados en el corazón de Las Vegas, en Fremont Street, sobre la calle 4. Llámenos, te esperamos. Venga.
I need to put in a graphic that says Mes de la Hispanidad or something like that. You know what? Let's hear what he says first.
Este septiembre a celebrar el mes de la hispanidad en Nacho.
Celebra el mes de la herencia hispana. Let's put that in the middle. And we're going to rearrange this. 0. I thought I typed 0 here. Cool. All right. I just had to add that little piece in there just because they're going to say, hey, you didn't say anything about that. Even though Ruben says it in the voice.
Venga este septiembre a celebrar el mes de la hispanidad en Nacho Daddy's. Aquí encontrará las bebidas más frías y exóticas. Visítenos hoy mismo y pruebe nuestra margarita galardonada como la mejor de Las Vegas. Nuestra comida está hecha fresca, con el sabor más auténtico y tenemos una gran variedad para todos los gustos. Comience la fiesta hoy mismo. Estamos ubicados en el corazón de Las Vegas, en Fremont Street, sobre la calle 4. Llámenos, te esperamos.
Okay, I noticed two things. Actually, just one thing. These look really good with the transitions. The titles do because they're white. They have no outline. And so when the white blends up and goes all the way white, it gets lost and then comes back as another title. And it's great. It's perfect. Doesn't happen here. So I need to use a transition and put it here. And I want to use the same transition. But it won't let me grab it and stick it up there. It wants to stick it down here. So I have to go in here and find that transition and stick it up there. And the one I'm using is scale. It's going to put two of them in there. And it's going to create a storyline out of it. But now it should follow along with this. It should blend up and everything. Should be the same. Okay, here we go.
Venga este septiembre a celebrar el mes.
Exactly what I want. Okay, so that's done. Now all I have to do is add the music and export it and send it out to everybody. So you just watched me come up with a commercial just right now. So there, I hope you liked it. That was kind of fun. All right, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. And leave a like if you liked it. If you have any questions or anything you'd like to know more, just let me know. Leave a comment, send me a message, whatever you want to do. I'll be happy to do my best to answer as much as I can. I sometimes tend to rush through these things and forget some steps or forget talking about whatever I'm doing. So I do my best, but I do tend to forget things. So if you have any questions about anything that I did, let me know. If you have any questions that you want to learn or any particular thing that you say, hey, I'd like to know how to do this, let me know, and I'll do my best to try to record something and let you know how to do it. All right? Thank you very much for watching.